Good luck, have fun, don't die. Before we get to today's video, I want to take a moment to talk about Patreon. That's right, we are on Patreon now, and we have a bunch of tiers with a bunch of great rewards. You can subscribe and get things like early access to all reactions, depending on your tier, depends on which reactions you get early access to. You can vote on polls exclusive to patrons that will help determine future reaction series and more. You will get to just have various choices in terms of like getting to choose future reactions I react to, getting to choose first impressions I check out, all kinds of different rewards, and possibly more coming in the future. We're still new at this. We're still figuring things out. It's a process. It's a process. But we have multiple tiers, so whatever you would be able to donate, if you're able and willing to donate, is appreciated. It helps me out, it helps the channel out, it helps us grow. It's going to help just, standardly. It's just something new to check out. Plus, if you like getting the reactions early, that's also a plus. But it is optional. If you're unable to do it, that's completely fine. All reactions will come to YouTube just a little bit later, a week later or so. So that all being said, thank you as always so much, and let's get on with today's video. And with that being said, hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to, well, as I said in the cold open, good luck, have fun, don't die. The title of this instantly makes me think of Everything Everywhere All at Once. I don't think there's any connection to it. Like, I don't think this is A24 or anything. I don't know for sure, though, I guess. All I know about this movie is that it stars Sam Rockwell. It has an amazing title. And I think it's a sci-fi series. So, not really a lot to go off of. I don't know who else is in this. I don't know the plot. Or, did I say sci-fi series? I meant sci-fi movie. I don't know the plot. I don't know anything else about it, but this was a movie that I wanted to do. So this isn't a donation reward, though I have had it on my request ideas list on the Discord server. No one has requested it, and so I decided I just wanted to do this myself. It became available, and so, yeah, it was one of those that I just thought, let's get to this. I want to see it. Plus, I also haven't seen much of any 2026 movies so far. We're already in April, and I really haven't... I think I've only seen one movie from this entire year that's, come out this year. And I think that was... I can't think of the name right now, but it was the Sam Raimi movie that I didn't like. The one that was in theaters in, January, I want to say. I saw it in theaters, and I didn't like it. I thought it was disjointed and had no clear identity of its own, and just, I don't think it was that good. It wasn't, terrible, but it wasn't that good. Sam Raimi's definitely done better. But, overall, this movie, like I said, I've only vaguely heard about, because, this is one that I don't know if it's just... I don't know if there's been other stuff that's been released around the same time that just took up all the attention. Or I don't know if this is maybe more independent, but... I've heard some people mention it, but it's not really gotten the amount of attention as other movies this year. There's been other films that have, been huge in terms of their overall, advertising, impact, and just, word of mouth. So, the fact that I have heard so little about this one just either means that it kind of flew under a lot of people's radar, or it's one of those movies that just isn't a big name movie. It's just a smaller, more independent film. But I guess we'll see how it goes. Because just because it's independent doesn't mean it's going to be bad by any means. Just because it's not like super highly and constantly talked about doesn't mean it's bad. I tend not to trust people because my views on plenty of movies have been entirely different than the standard view. And there's a lot of movies that fly under the radar that I think have been fantastic. A lot of movies that I also think get way too much attention. That are like super heavily praised. And it's like, this isn't really that great. But I don't know. I don't know what we're getting into here. I like Sam Rockwell. Typically, he's good at most things he does. And he's good at playing a good guy or a bad guy. I don't know what kind of role he's going to be in here. But, like, he's really good at playing just a scummy son of a bitch. But he's also, likable enough to where it's like you can believe he's a good person, too. And he's even done voice acting with the bad guys and probably other stuff. But the bad guys is the big one I know him for in terms of voice acting. And yeah, I'm just very curious to see what this is like. I do know what he looks like in this movie. I've seen like a single poster for this. And it basically I think it just showed him mostly. But yeah, it's like, I know what he looks like, at least at one part of this movie. I don't know if he looks like that throughout the entire film. But yeah. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see what this is about, and hopefully it ends up being entertaining. The title is really interesting. I mean, outside of just sounding like Everything Everywhere All at Once, it's a really fun title. Like, good luck, have fun, don't die. It sounds like something like someone would say to someone when they're like fed up with them. It's like, oh, I'm here to warn you about shit going down. It's an apocalyptic situation or something, but the other person is just like not listening, not like cooperating, not taking them seriously. And it's like, all right, good luck, have fun, don't die, whatever, I'm out. That's the vibe it gives off. That is the vibe that the title gives off. And I'm very curious to see if that's the vibe that it goes with for the film. So, yeah, I guess we should just get into this. Because, like I said, I don't really know anything else about it. I don't know who else is in this. And I'm just hoping that it's good. So, let's check it out and see what we have in store. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. Welcome to the Afterthoughts. We'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, I wasn't 100% sure about the ending there, and it seems like that was intentional. I still don't understand like what he was seeing with the sun that made him realize that this wasn't real. But apparently there was something, like, I guess I missed it, like, she was having nosebleeds again and everything, and before, the kitty centaur and stuff appeared. But it, like, raised the question to me about what is and isn't real and everything. Was this all a simulation the entire time? And I looked it up to see, like, if the director, Gore Verbinski, said anything specific about that. And apparently all he said is that it was intentionally vague, but that simulation theory was a big part of the making of this film. the entire, matrix ideology that everything is a simulation. That was a big, like, proponent and inspiration for this movie. But by what he said, Gore Verbinski has also made very clear that the man, the time traveler, is a person who is really who time traveling, and that, like, his goal is, like, really there, but that there is also another time traveler to consider, being the AI, which, yeah, that was put together, that the AI was, like, traveling back in time and stopping them, and it's very clear the AI was, like, it was made clear that the AI was building itself and had, taking control of the clone child and everything to do so. Like, everything was, coming together, everything fit. But I was just a little confused about, like, specific things, and again, it seems like that was intentional. It's not supposed to have this neat, clean, happy ending. Because this movie is, amongst other things, a movie that is literally a movie about being anti AI. And especially, and very specifically, generative AI. Because obviously AI, like, we talk about, like, being anti-AI, we're talking specific types of AI. AI can be used for good, and it has been used for good in, like, scientific pursuits, the medical field, and it's been used in, like, media and video game production and stuff forever. AI can be used fine. It's just when it's generative and it is, like, stealing work from artists and musicians and voice actors and whatnot, when it's, you know, copying and pretending to create without actually putting any, like, real effort in, or also, again, just stealing work and shit that real people made. It's specifically generative AI that we're talking about. And that's the kind of AI we see. We even see it, like, happen with the entire thing, the AI literally creating the cat centaur and everything based off the prompts it was given. The pug even comes into play in the final illusion and everything. From what I'm gathering, it seems like the entire world wasn't an illusion. I'm not thinking, like, the entire movie was fake. What I'm gathering, the way I'm seeing it, is that the illusion happened after the protocol was put in place. I don't know how. Or maybe it was, like, right around when we saw the mother, Ingrid, receiving the illusion. So maybe the protocol was never actually put in place, but the instant the AI started talking to her, the illusion was already set in place by that point, and they just never got out of it. They were all, like, sucked into the illusion, and the idea of her in reality putting the protocol in just never actually happened. That's kind of my thought. Because I don't think the entire thing was an illusion. And him going back in the end and starting things over and talking about giving the entire world her allergy as a way to fight it instead of using the protocol, like, that's probably a much better way to handle it, honestly. And in the interview I read, Gore Verbinski even said that the ending is meant to be hopeful. While that run, the entire basically movie we saw was a failed attempt, it does leave you off on a hopeful note that he's getting to a point where he will succeed. And so that's how I'm viewing it. The entire movie wasn't a simulation. The reason the kitty centaur existed in the real world was because of the AI being able to, like, create it. The AI itself having come back from the future as well, and, creating itself and everything. Which there's a whole lot of paradoxical things you could talk about with that. But Yeah, it's like it was able to, and that's how like the last line of defenses at the house are always different. Every attempt. He mentioned like rats, like the police, yakuza, all kinds of different things. And in this case, we had the teenagers and then the kitty centaur. Although the kitty centaur actually technically kind of helped them, weirdly enough. But I also like how the kitty centaur was like made up of like different like cat heads and faces and stuff, just like kind of like merged together to create the body and stuff. And it's like it very much felt like a stupid AI generated image you would see on online on social media or something. It felt like a really bad AI image, and that was obviously the point. Um, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting as a concept, and it's obviously very wacky and insane. The movie like is unhinged as hell, but in a very fun way. Obviously, Sam Rockwell plays this perfectly. The other actors all did a fantastic job as well. It really felt like there is an intent to it. It was made with the intent to basically give a big middle finger to AI and express that human art is superior and just, human made anything, really. And it's interesting that like this creature and all the stuff that looks like it would be made by AI is like made by humans for this film. There's a certain irony in that, but it's made to look like an AI generated image. Um, I like the way the movie was formatted with having like a almost an anthology like aspect to it. Having like our main connecting story, but then having these little flashback sequences throughout, kind of acting as like these backstories for all of the characters. I think that was a smart idea to do it. And then like some characters just didn't get backstories because they were less important, like Bob, the pie lady, or even Scott, who did make it to near the end. But it's like the ones who really did make it to the end all got their backstories explained. And there's even certain things that it's like I really should have seen coming a lot quicker. And there was like even with Ingrid being the mother, I kind of guessed that, but I wasn't confident enough to say anything. I was like maybe 65% sure, which is not a lot. It's a majority percent, but it's overall not a lot, and I wasn't confident, so I didn't want to say anything. But it makes sense. It makes perfect sense when you think about all of the clues that were there. They were there. Everything was there. Nothing in the movie felt like it was wasted. Nothing felt like it just either didn't amount to anything or didn't have any relevance in the end. Everything came back in some way or was explained in some way. And it just all worked. It all made sense. It all worked in a very tightly written, tightly wrapped up manner. And again, it was a lot of fun to watch because there's a lot of insanity. Obviously, we figured out that like those two the pig guys, Doug and Carl, I believe. They were obviously hired by like someone promising them a shit ton of money, which they were obviously never going to get. It was the AI. The AI sent them the emails. It was obvious. Like we got that figured out. The AI sent the headset to Tim. And we know that it was sent to Tim because the AI was also to some degree responsible for like at least it was implied that there was some responsibility for Ingrid's tech allergy. But on top of that, it's like the AI definitely knew Ingrid would be there. And so that was intentional. We saw the headset in the future with the child version of the time traveler, the man. And so it's like that was also a big clue because that's the only other place we saw the headset. It's like everything just really fit together really well. Um, I liked the backstories, the because they each had almost their own little mini message in them. Obviously, you have the entire thing about like kids becoming obsessed with technology, like phones and whatnot, being on their phones all the time for every little thing, constantly staring at their screens, which is, you know, a dramatized message that has been like shown in movies and media and whatnot for honestly probably 15 years at this point. Well, okay, let's bump it up to 16 since about like 2010 or so, I would say. Um, it really gained traction around that time, maybe even a little earlier. And like once cell phones really became like an everyday thing, basically, I would say that would be about what 2010 to 2012, somewhere in that range. But it's like people would complain that oh kids were staring at their phones and not going outside all the time. They've been complaining about that ever since, and it's always so dramatized because it's like I've I've seen plenty of kids, whether at churches or um well at when this first would have started 2010 2011, I would have been in high school still, and I you know would have had that firsthand experience. And then it's like just out in public all the time. It's like I see plenty of kids like just, interacting with the world plenty like constantly. And even nowadays in like the late or mid to late 2020s, it's like I'm still seeing that. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of kids who spend a lot of time on their phones or their tablets or their game consoles or whatever. But I also have seen kids playing in the park. I've seen kids playing baseball out on the field. We have like a middle school or something like right down the road, and there's like a huge ass field uh on the property that has like two or three baseball diamonds on it, and like I've seen kids playing there all the time. And during the summer when there's no school, I mean, too. So it's like kids will just go there to play, just to play baseball. I've seen that all the time. I see kids like running around outside all the time. And then not on their phones or anything. They're actually playing. And I live on like a regular neighborhood street where there's not like a lot to play on. There's not like a lot of grass or anything. But the kids are just running around, chasing each other. I've seen them with squirt guns and stuff during the summer. Kids still do that, believe it or not. It's always been so exaggerated. And it's by older generations. Older generations are so exaggerated because they'll see like kids on their phones a lot, or younger generations in general on their phones a lot, and think that they're like not doing anything, like they're mindlessly like looking at social media, and that's not a lot of the times the case. A lot of times they might be talking to their family. They might be looking up a recipe to make for their family later on in the day. Maybe they're shopping for a birthday present. Phones make life a lot easier, and like, yeah, they can be distracting and they can like cause problems and everything, but a lot of these movies are so dramatic with it. And it leads to like, some fun imagery and stuff like you see in this film, but it's so overly dramatic and just like it's not how things are. It's just not. Um, but I loved in that flashback either way. It's like it's literally mind controlling them. That's pretty fun. It's just a fun idea. And then you see with the mother, you get like into existential shit with the cloning and everything. But also not only just talking about that existentialism, you also have the discussions about school shootings having become so constant, so like regular that people have become numb to it. People have just like stopped caring and are just like talking like, ah, it's just another school shooting. And it's like, again, it's an exaggeration. It's not true. People absolutely still care and are still like freaking out every time it happens. But it is true that it has become kind of normal, at least here in America. And that's really fucked up that it's become kind of normal. The fact that we have so many school shootings and then we still have like the NRA like saying like, oh, we can't blame the guns, it's mental illness. It's like, fuck off, you absolute cunt bags. It's like assholes saying shit like that when like kids are dead and all. It's like, fuck right on off. It's like, just shut the fuck up and just admit for once in your fucking life that guns are the problem. And America's like obsession with guns are the problem. This is why I'm not like, this is literally why I'm not a big fan of like gun gameplay in video games either. Because I feel like that's just, adding to it. Yeah, it's like, don't get me wrong, I'm not like one of those idiots who are going to say like, oh, video games are the cause for school shootings and shit. No, because that's stupid. But like, that's part of our country's like, and just the world's obsession with guns. That all these games have to have like all this gun gameplay and everything. And it's like, it's because of all these school shootings and stuff, I've kind of like really grown to hate that kind of gameplay. It actively bothers me. And again, I'm not blaming the video games because that's a stupid thing to do. There's absolutely other issues at cause here. And obviously, like, real gun ownership and access to guns is obviously a much bigger issue. But to say that it's not anything is maybe a little naive. And it's not just video games either, it's just media in general. There's a lot of gun-related shit. And I mean, even just outside of guns, there's a lot of media that likes to, like, really praise and lift up and, like, defend people who use guns on a regular basis, and especially the likes of, like, American police. There's so many goddamn shows out there on television, on network television, about cops. There's so many goddamn cop shows. It is so constant. It is so barraged into your face. And it always tries to paint the cops as the heroes, the good guys. You rarely see a show that actually, like, portrays, the cops as being negative in any way. And even when you do, it's usually in a satirical manner so people don't take it seriously. And it's just irritating. There's a lot of issues with that, but I'm not going to get into all that here because that part's not really entirely relevant. The point is, like, this obviously touches on school shootings, honestly, in a much better way than a lot of things do, by showing kind of the horror of how naturalized it's kind of become. And it's wild because this movie is very clearly, like, comedy. It's a bit of a thriller, it's a sci-fi movie, but it is also comedy. And the fact that this movie is able to, like, express that kind of information better than a lot of movies out there, than a lot of shows, than media in general, is saying a lot. So, yeah. But like I said, it touches on the existentialism aspect, too, of, like, the cloning process, and is it really your son, and the entire thing about, like, oh, we can, like, give them these interests, these hobbies, we can take away these negative aspects. Oh, but you're going to have, like, one ad a day. It's like, this is just fucking Black Mirror. Almost literally. Like, that, there has to be inspiration there because, again, there's been Black Mirror episodes that have, like, pretty much been exactly what you saw in here. Not exactly, maybe, but are very close. Very close. To the point where it's like actually kind of creepy. How on the nose it was with those episodes of Black Mirror. If you haven't seen Black Mirror, I would definitely suggest it if you like sci-fi, and especially sci-fi that touches on, like, important real life topics such as AI and stuff like that. There's a lot of great episodes. There's also a lot of great guest stars in there, like Anthony Mackie is in an episode. You have God, what is his name? Aaron Paul in an episode. Um the actress who plays Shuri in the Black Panther movies is in it, and so on and so forth. There's plenty of big names throughout the series, and even some who became big names after starring in the series. So yeah, I would definitely suggest checking out. There are some episodes that are hard to watch, but I'd say it's worth it. Um, my favorite episode is still San Junipero, though, because it's super gay, and it's actually one of the happier episodes. Because most of them are very depressing or scary or both. But there are a couple episodes that are actually genuinely happier, and that's one of them. Um, but yeah, so this movie was just an absolute blast. It was crazy, it was weird, it was psychotic, but it had great messages and just really tried to like just be a warning against AI, which it's not the first movie, obviously, that's done that. I mentioned Skynet multiple times in the reaction. It's like, it goes back as far as Terminator and probably even well before. AI has been, a threat in a lot of media for a long time. And it's going to continue to be the more that AI, especially generative AI, grows and is, utilized. Luckily, Luckily, it seems like the AI bubble has started to pop. We've noticed that like more than half of all data centers are being shut down and stuff because they're just unsustainable. And people are like really starting to see, like, even those who did like side with AI at first are starting to see how bad it can be. It's getting better, but there's still so much like of the world of like these companies especially who are trying to utilize it for, cutting corners mostly. Like there was I don't know what the anime is. It's an anime that I've never really checked out, but apparently an anime came out with a new season and the opening used AI. I heard about. And they actually, like, there was enough people complaining and bitching about this that the studio actually made a statement and said like, "Oh, yeah, we don't know how that got there," which is bullshit, by the way. Like this was an unintentional thing, and we're gonna fix it now. And they did. They did fix it, but they only fixed it because they were caught. Saying that like they didn't intend to do it or they didn't know how it got there is bullshit. They put it in on purpose to cut costs because it's cheaper. It is absolutely cheaper than hiring artists. But, you know, that's it's worth it to hire real human artists. Don't cut corners. People do notice because it looks like shit. People like constantly like to bring up like, oh, AI is starting to look so much better. The animation industry is in trouble. The movie industry is in trouble because look how good this looks. And it's like, it looks like shit, Karen. It looks so actively bad. What are you talking about? These industries are in trouble. No, they're fucking not. Like nobody with any sense of like eyesight would think that those look good. They look like shit. Like, even when they're hyper realistic, the people don't move or act like people in them.
when they're animated, they look so off in the way that like everything moves around and the way the characters like the way their limbs move and stuff. It's because AI can only copy, it can't create. And it can't understand how the movement is actually supposed to look because it's a computer. And it wouldn't know that. And so it always looks bad. No matter how hyper realistic the graphics may be, there's always issues with it, whether in the face, in limbs, and especially fingers and stuff. Um, there'll always be textures that are completely off and wrong. And it's just like, it may have gotten better, quote unquote, but better doesn't mean good. Like, putting glitter on a shit still makes it a shit. It just has glitter on it now. It's better, I guess, but it doesn't make it good. AI is bad. It is ethically bad, it is morally bad, and you are a bad person if you use it. I'm sorry, I'm not sugarcoating it. Because you are saying that that people's hard work means nothing. That it's okay for these AI to steal that work. That it's okay that they're hurting the planet because of how much energy and how much that these data centers require. Also, that you say that it's okay that these data centers are forcing nearby people to pay the extra amounts on their electric bills, even though they're not the ones using the electricity. You say that's okay. Yeah, that's happening, by the way, for those who don't know. Like, that's one of the reasons a lot of these data centers are getting shut down. Because, like, this is being found out that they're forcing, like, just citizens who have nothing to do with it, who aren't even using the electricity for these data centers, but just happen to live in the area these data centers are in. They're being forced to pay and their electric bills are skyrocketing for something that they're not even using. That's fucked. That should be illegal. That should be excessively illegal. But you know, capitalism's gonna capitalism. This is why, like, capitalism is just inherently bad. Because it's inherently something that, like, you know, hurts the average person. There's, like, no way to get around that. But yeah. Um, this movie was just, it was great. It was very fun to watch. It, again, was very, very rightly against AI in every manner, pretty much. And it's just, it was a fun movie. I just really enjoyed it. Also had a couple twists that I didn't see coming, a couple that I did. A couple things that were just like, what the fuck? Yeah, I had a good time. Tell me what you thought in the comments below. And thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.